Yes, that's correct. So because they're the same letters, it's the same word, right? So it's chaf, lamed, right? So whenever you see this word, whether it's pronounced with a chaf or with a kaf, it means all or whole. But it's with a kamatz here, right? It has a kamatz. So it's either a chaf kamatz lamed or a kaf kamatz lamed. So in this case, instead of reading the kamatz like an ah sound, it's read like an aw or an o sound, okay? So it's, whenever you see that word, that's the way you're going to pronounce it. With a chaf kamatz lamed, it's going to be either chol or kol, and it does mean all or whole, just like it sounds in Hebrew. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to pick out a root. I want everybody to pick out a root. And remember, the root is a 2 or 3 letter form. We're going to go over roots again today. Okay? A root is 2 or 3 letters, 2 or 3 letter word, okay? To which we're going to add prefixes and suffixes, okay? We're going to learn some suffixes today also.
Is this a root?
Does it have 2 or 3 letters? Yep, that's one. Okay, so tell me what your letters are. Okay, tell me what your letters are for your root.
Wait.
Well, it's first of all, yeah, dalet, right? Right?
Dalet.
Yeah, there you go. Dalet. Okay, next.
Wait.
Beit. Okay. And the last letter?
It's the one before Sheen.
That's right. The one before Sheen is Tzadi Kuf.
Wait.
Good. Okay, so Resh. All righty. So when you write out a root, you're going to be writing out 2 or 3 letters. And the way it's pronounced, that's traditionally pronounced, is the past tense masculine. This is, you'll get used to it after a while. Masculine singular verb, because that's the simplest verb to pronounce. And it's always pronounced with the ah patach. All the syllables are pronounced with the ah patach, okay? So this would be pronounced da bar, which means, this word means spoke. Okay, so we're going to use spoke. We're going to use the past tense. Okay, spoke, so it's like a spoken word. And when used as the past tense masculine singular verb, it's he spoke. And the way we pronounce it is dabar. So we're going to use the dagesh form because that's the way we're pronouncing the aleph beit form of the beit. And we say the root is dabar. He spoke. Now, when you add prefixes, you can add any one of these prefixes: in, the, and, like, to, from, of. The first word of the 10 Commandments is, there's a vav and a yud. Okay? The vav means and. The yud connotes future tense. The vav actually connotes past, so it's pulling the past along. The vav actually, the word vav means hook. So in essence, and means hooking something from the past. The yud has a future tense form. It's not a prefix in the sense that you can make a word out of it. but it does have a sense of future. So in essence, when you have these two letters, the vav and the yud together, it's past and future combined, it makes it present tense. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Okay, present. All right. So a lot of times you'll hear in the Hebrew read, this will be read as one syllable, vai, and then you've got the root. So essentially, it's vai daber, which means not he spoke, but speaks. Okay? So when it makes the past tense masculine singular verb form into an actual used word, this makes the verb present. So speaks. Okay? So that's using this root, this past tense masculine singular verb, dabar, and putting a prefix on it, in this case, the vav and the yud together, making it past plus future, actually making it present. Vai dabar, speaks. Okay? So depending on the context and depending on the prefixes and suffixes, this root takes on extra meaning. You got the root and then you got the extra meaning. Okay, I need another root. Okay. Tell me. Okay, so tell me the letters.
Alef-lamed.
And that's, oh, okay. So this is actually a loaded root. Okay, so mystically speaking, the aleph, not mystically, but in a lot of words, the aleph actually refers to the self. Okay? So this, if you were using this as a verb, right, it would be al, right? So let's say we're using this as a root. This would mean self, and this is two. Lamed is two. So self to, movement of the self towards. The actual meaning of this word al means not. So it's not really a root. It's not really a root. It has many different meanings depending on the context. If it's used in the like in the Ten Commandments, it's right. Say Ray. And el. So you've got the self moving to el. This is a word for God. And it can be the God God of gods, or it can be a God. Think of this word as a magnet. Let's say this word is used as self to. The self is moving towards something. You're moving towards something. This would be like a magnet that moves beings towards you, which is why this is another word for God. God is sort of a magnet. God draws you towards him. So it can be the God of, the God of gods, or it can be a God. Magnet. So either God or little case, God. All right? Loaded word. Thank you. Okay. Miss Lori, if you want to give us a root.
Jose Tija.
Okay.
And so the root would be, I think, Zva.
Tsari, right?
Zati.
Yeah.
Aleph.
Right, and that's it. Okay, so let's say we're using this as a root in the past tense masculine singular verb. It would be tsa, right? Aleph is silent. Tsa. It's bring forth, right? Bring forth. Okay? So, in the case of this, in the Ten Commandments, actually, let me just go back to this. Were there any prefixes?
No.
With it? Okay, so this is a standalone one, but you can add prefixes. Ha'el would be the God. V'el would be and God. B'el would be in God, and so forth. Okay? So yeah, you can
What
add
about sh?
sh of God. You can do that too. So you can use any of these prefixes with this. So in that sense, it is a root. It really is, but it's a loaded one. So let's go back to this. Tsa means bring forth, or he brought forth would be the masculine, the past tense masculine singular verb. So he brought forth. What does it mean to bring forth? So to me, bringing forth means there's some force, there's some strength there. And bringing forth, it's pulling with some strength, okay? So the past tense masculine singular verb form means he brought forth, tsa. Okay? So now you've got the ho, the he, and the vav o, right? Right? So in this instance, it doesn't mean the and, or it could. I mean, you can read any number of meanings into it. The and brought forth, then there's some suffixes here, but, or I believe in this sense it's more reflexive, like bring yourself forth, or the God brought you forth. So the God of the Hebrew Bible brought you forth. And then what are the suffixes? Ho, tse,
Ticha.
right, say, and then tav, right?
Right.
And yud, right?
Yes, right.
And then chaf sofit. Ho, and it's really say, ti, cha. And by convention, we write the vowels in the sofit form into the box. Well, if it were the mem sofit, we'd write it underneath. But if it's all the others, we write it inside them. Okay? So ho, tse, ti, cha. Reflexive. Brought them forth, I guess. Brought them forth.
Why them?
Or brought, well, I'm not sure. Because in the context, again, you're using context. It's God, right? El. Is it El before Hotse Ticha?
No,
Asher.
it's Asher.
Asher. Okay, Asher is a different word. Okay, but who's doing the action?
Well, God is, I.
Okay, so Anochi, Asher Hotse Ticha.
Right.
So it's actually God, and then Asher means which is the one, which is the God, who took you. Cha, the cha at the end means you.
Right.
Okay, you personally. This is not plural. This is you personally.
What is the tav?
Hotset, it's it's more as a suffix. The tav means of. So we haven't really learned suffixes yet. We're going to learn a few suffixes today. But more like reflexive, he, God, brought you forth. Okay, this is a very loaded word. It has many, many different layers of meaning, but basically it means God who brought you personally forth. Okay, but you still have the root. This is the root,
Or the
brought
root.
forth. It's okay. But the tav here means of when it's used as a suffix.
But the reflexive could also be the people, the Hebrews,
Mhm.
who were working with God to bring themselves forth.
Yes, yes, yes. I think so.
Right?
I think so.
A culmination action there.
I think, yes. Again, many, many different layers with this word. It's loaded.
So, but is the hey, vav, o typically
Reflexive?
signifying reflexive?
It can, yes. When you have certain verb forms, and again, we're going to do that some other time, certain verb forms that begin with hey, it's a reflexive verb form. Okay? So, but at least we found the root here, right? The root, which is the 2 or 3 letter word, which is the past tense masculine singular verb, we identified it. Okay? Very good. So, and do you have a root? So give me the root.
It's iron,
Okay.
sheen,
And that's it, actually. Very good word. It's sheen, but we're going to use the seen form here because that's the typical way to pronounce this verb root. Okay, so the past tense masculine singular is as, which means do, or he did. Well, the past tense masculine singular would be he did, but when you use it in other words, it means do. Okay? So what are the prefixes, or what's the prefix for this one, for that word that the, okay, which means and.
and it's yud and ta.
Okay, so again, we haven't learned prefixes. The asita with a, what is it, a kamatz?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and that's shva, right?
Yeah.
Ve'asita. So this is the root, as. When you see the ayin and the seen, it will always be spelled as a seen in the root form, or in the book form. It means do and, or did. Okay? And did. Okay? And this is a verbal form, the suffix here. So we'll go through that some other time. Okay, very good. So we have, I erased my God here. Let me get this. We have 4 roots. Dabar, he spoke. El, movement towards. Tse,
He bring forth.
right, he brought forth. As, he did. Okay, so you see how the root form works. And that's with the entire Bible. You can pick out words. There aren't that many word roots that you need to remember because the Bible is very efficient. It uses a whole bunch of prefixes and suffixes and connotations and so forth with just several hundred. It's just several hundred root forms. Okay? So you can pick them out, pick out the root forms, and you have a general understanding of what the word means. Okay? So those are the roots. All right. So now we're going to do a few suffixes here. But before we do the suffixes, we're going to go and understand pronouns. Okay. Okay, so a pronoun, the way we're going to be doing our verbs and stuff is with a box with 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. It's going to do it this way. So I is ani, right? Or, and that means I or me. And then anochi. Let me just get my little book form here. Anochi means I, formal. Oh, that's actually where God's talking. If I can just take a look at this. I, formal. Okay? So, ani is I, or me. Anochi is I formal. So royal I. Okay? So this book I'm using here is called Hine. It's Biblical Hebrew, the Practical Way. I have here the toolbox. Yeah, by Rahel Halabe. It's really a wonderful book. Has a lot of tools in it. Has all kinds of forms, verb forms, and
Is this extra homework?
no, this is not extra homework. This is just learning the next minor lesson with the pronouns. Okay. So, ani and anochi are I, and then anachnu. Anachnu is, what do you think that is? This is a plural.
It's either ooh, new is plural. That's the plural part of it.
So there's I, which is singular. And the plural is we. Very good. Good. So we. Anachnu is we.
We what? Oh, we.
Just the word we.
The pronoun.
That's just the pronoun. Right. So these are pronouns.
Do I have to write down the first word?
You don't have to write this down right now. Just this is sort of an introduction. Okay. So this will be
Noon.
nun vav. Vav u. Anachnu. Okay.
Can I put it right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put the
Anachnu. Perfect. Yes. Just make your chet really bigger than the noon. Okay, so you can tell the difference between the two. All right. Then masculine, you singular, is ata. Okay. So that's you, masculine, singular.
Do I need to write down the English word?
No, you can just remember this.
So ata is you, masculine, singular.
Right.
I'm just writing down the letters.
Okay, you can write down the letters. That's really all you need because the vowel sounds are written out in the Hebrew, right? In the text. You don't have to remember the vowel sounds. You write them out just because it helps you. Okay?
They have not all of the L's in the command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is Yahweh?
Yahweh? Well, we'll go ahead and do that after I finish this. Yahweh is another way to pronounce God, the four-letter name for God. So we'll do that, okay? That'll be our last lesson.
So ata is masculine, singular, you, but the hey at the end of a word usually signifies feminine.
So what's God telling us?
It's both.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, because, I mean, what's the genetics of the male? It's XY. There's an X in the intrinsically in a male. Okay, males are both. All righty. So, let's see, Anochi, yeah. So that's you, masculine, singular, and then he, masculine, singular. So this is first person, second person, third person.
Who are these people?
That's just these are called pronouns. So if you see any of these words, you know they're saying ani means I or me, ata means you, masculine, and who, oops, that's aleph. Who means he. Okay. All right, so going over to the plural form, You all, masculine plural, is atem.
Masculine plural.
Mm-hmm.
So that's them, as in all men?
No, you all.
You all, okay.
Yeah. You all, masculine plural. So atem. Okay. And them, or they, masculine plural. So this is second person. Oh, wait. This is first person, second person, third person. They is hame. Hame. Okay? Hame. Okay, so this is plural, singular, first person, second person, masculine, third person, masculine. Okay, so let's review this.
Is this all right?
Him is they or them. Third person, yeah.
Is this right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's good.
So there's no difference in a subject and object pronoun?
Well,
Because they is a subject pronoun. Them is
this is masculine. This is masculine.
Right, but they is a subject pronoun. And
Yes.
them is an object pronoun
It's the same.
in Hebrew.
Yeah. So it's simple. Hebrew
Yeah.
simplifies. Ani, let's say ani,
Me,
anochi,
Anochi,
anachnu.
Anachnu,
Okay. Ata,
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 atem.
atem,
Atem,
Who,
Who,
him.
him.
Okay. So it sounds even like them. Doesn't it sound sort of like them? Him.
So if you were being informal with somebody, if you were speaking about yourself informally, you would say ani.
Yeah.
If you were speaking formally about yourself, you would say anach,
Anochi. Right.
Anochi.
Right. But that's really the only formal form of any of these pronouns. Okay? Now we're going to do the feminine. Okay? So look at this. So the second person, feminine singular, is at. Okay? At.
Second person feminine singular.
So you, right? Feminine singular, okay? At.
That's a lot of pronouns.
These are a lot of pronouns. We're going to be doing this a lot from now on, okay? You got all this stuff down, right? All this stuff you got.
Are we going to write it down next week?
Yeah, we're going to write it down next week, okay?
Is you feminine singular.
Right. Okay? Then you, feminine. So it's second person. You all, feminine plural, is ten, excuse me. 10 with the nun sofit, okay? So that's 10, okay? So that makes sense, right? At 10. And then you, she, feminine singular, so third person, feminine singular, is he. He. And then they, so third person, them, they, feminine plural is hen. Okay. We're going to remember that form. There's another form, but we're not going to worry about that one. Okay?
there's
So,
no first
he,
person?
hein. She,
But
ani.
on-
First person, it's both masculine and singular. Ani.
I
Same with,
male,
Miss Mona,
you.
are we gonna do this next week as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah,
'Cause I
this
did
is
write it down.
this is just the introduction. No, you don't have to write any of this down. This is just the introduction.
I write it down.
Good, okay, so you wrote it down.
For making me feel foolish.
Okay. We're all going to get this over and over and over, okay? This is just the beginning of the pronouns and the verbs, okay?
This is new.
This is
Are we
new.
going to-
Yeah.
Into the more complicated modern Hebrew now?
No modern Hebrew.
Okay.
When
Biblical
do we
Hebrew
do-
is complicated enough. Even though it's simple, it's complicated enough.
I want to do biblical Hebrew.
This is
We
biblical
are.
Hebrew. Okay, this is
What
it.
about hard Hebrew?
Hard Hebrew? Well,
We can go to Israel.
this isn't hard enough? No? Oh, okay, well, there's something called ulpan. Ulpan is a very intensive training for 5 weeks where you're in the same class all day for all week for 5 weeks, and you only hear Hebrew. But that's the modern Hebrew. That's conversational Hebrew. And that's what you do when you first get to Israel or just before you get to Israel, and you are intensely immersed in Hebrew. 8 hours, bless you, 8 hours a day,
Is that what they
5
make you
days a
do?
week. It's called ulpan. Yes, that's what they make you do. And
So
boy,
even
do
if-
you learn Hebrew.
And even if you're just taking a vacation to Israel?
No, that's if you want to move to Israel.
Oh,
That's if you want to either move to Israel.
Or
No, this
live.
is a very special course for people who actually want to do what's called make aliyah. They want to move from the diaspora outside of Israel and move to Israel and learn the language. This is an immersion language program, and you will learn conversational Hebrew. At the end of 5 weeks, you will be speaking Hebrew.
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah,
That's
it's very
harder?
intensive. I think it's harder. I had a hard time, yes.
What's Korim? Anach, new Korim?
Oh, so anachnu, okay, so let's write that down.
Do we have to write this down too?
No,
No.
this you don't have to write down. Okay.
I'm
So
done writing.
you're done writing for today. That's right.
All of us?
Yep. Unless you really want to write.
I want to
Otherwise-
I want to write.
I will do the writing.
I'm a hyper.
Okay, so,
Can I help you write?
well, not this time, but next time, I'm going to write this out. That's going to be the first thing I write. We're going to go through all this, but we're going to do it, very quickly. Then the next thing you're going to do is write out the pronouns. And you can help me write those out. All right, so anachnu. What does anachnu mean, guys?
We,
Okay. Anachnu.
No.
Mm-hmm. So anachnu. We. Korim. Okay. So what is the root for korim?
be,
So it's kuf.
Kuf.
Resh, and I believe it's aleph. Kara. Okay, so masculine, the past tense masculine singular verb form is kara. This means read or call out. So when you're reading something out loud, you're calling it out, right? So anachnu means we, kara im, korim. So it's pronounced a little differently. So I would say it would either be the kamats or the cholam. I don't know which one, but it's pronounced like an O. Rim. Okay. So it's got one vowel for this last syllable. I'm pretty sure it's by the resh. Korim. Anachnu korim. We read. So, sorry, this is read.
so we,
And the yud mem is a suffix which makes it plural. Okay? I didn't teach you that yet. Anachnu korim. We read. or call out.
And then the next word?
Yes? U. What's the next one?
Anaknu korim I don't remember, but I can.
Berachamim?
Anaknu korim. Yes, I think that's it.
Is it a song that you learned?
It's a prayer.
Oh.
Berach. Beracha. Vim, I guess. Mim. Mim. Berachamim. Okay, so it's based on a song, but barach would be the root, barach, which means bless, and the v is and excuse me, the u.
We read and.
Beracha. Berachamim. Okay, we bless. Okay, so anyway, so but you can see this is the root here, kara. This is the root here, barach, and anachnu means we. Okay, so if you can just pick out the roots, you know what the word means. You really know what the word means, and then you just go in depending on what the context is in that sentence, or how it's used. That's how you're going to use that root word. But the root stays the same, right?
Miss Mona?
Yeah.
These rules that are set, like in chapter 20 of Exodus, are these God's, or this is the people of Israel that they wrote themselves?
Oh, this is God. God's talking to.
God
He
wrote
sounds
it?
a lot more
Yeah.
sterner and cruel in this section.
Well, because he's telling the badly behaved Israelites that, this is what's going to happen if you don't listen to me. You're just going to fall apart and be bad and rotten. And God is a stern parent. God really is a stern parent.
What's
But
stern?
does
Stern,
this
he's
still
strict.
apply to us today? These rules, or these are just ancient Israel's rules?
Well, that's for you to decide individually. Remember, when God talks to you.
The police is not going to arrest me because I
No.
don't know these.
When you have this cha at the end, or no, sorry, it's a chaf sofit. When God is telling you these rules, and there's a chaf sofit, that means you. God's talking directly to you, whether it's 3,500 years ago, which is when this was written, or if it's today. If you're reading it that way, this is all in context. It just depends on how you personally read it. Your relationship with God is very personal. It's what you make out of it. People who take this extremely seriously have had to eliminate a lot of behaviors in their life. They've just had to eliminate them. Bad behaviors, if you take it seriously. Do humans spank you for your bad behaviors?
Yes.
Some humans do, that's correct. But right, your mom. But now if you move out of the house and you decide you're going to do some behaviors that your mother would spank you for, but you do them anyway, is there anyone out there reprimanding or spanking you?
There's God.
But does he?
No.
Or does he depend on you? He depends on you. He absolutely depends on you to spank yourself. This is very personal. This is something you have to read as a personal text. And it will make you a better person. It's just how quickly you want to be made a better person and how much you want to stray and find out what it's like to be badly behaved, In the Garden of Eden, what did Adam and Eve choose to do? Did they choose to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, even though God said, don't do that? Did they choose to do that? God gave them free will, free choice. God actually allowed them to eat from that fruit.
What fruit?
So he
From the
could have
tree
stopped
of,
them, right?
God could have stopped them, but then where's our free will?
Why did he didn't stop them?
Because God gave us free will. Free will is more important even than God's admonishment and immortality. God gave us
I mean,
Such a
imagine
gift.
if God had stopped Adam and Eve on that day, then we would be immortal. Or nah, we probably wouldn't exist.
I don't think we would exist, frankly. I think
Who's
everyone is.
Adam and Eve?
Oh, from the very beginning here, sweetie.
Adam and Eve would be all the way
In the
at
very beginning of the Bible, okay? In the very beginning.
I remember that part.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Okay.
Well,
Give it
May,
to me.
stop.
Let me see.
It's okay.
See,
She can.
we're
Okay.
fighting over a Bible.
Right. So this is what
Well, these are
people
small
do.
writing.
Yeah, there's very small writing. This is the end of the book. See, the NIV is written the way normal books are today. So Adam and Eve is in the beginning. It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay. Why don't you let her
Why
read through that?
are these pages mixed up?
They're not mixed up. That's actually one page after the other, which is the entire Old Testament. So it's not mixed up, but it's just written the other way.
What time is the prophet Jeremiah?
Jeremiah. Oh, gosh.
Was he from the fall of Israel to the Assyrians or something?
Probably thereabout. I don't know. I don't know. But there was a lot of bad behavior during the time of the prophets. The prophets are human beings. They're humans that are sent down to earth not sent down to earth, that are born on earth, just like normal human beings, are born on earth, but they have a special connection to God. Do you think it's hard to be a prophet?
Oh, yeah.
Very hard. Did the people like the prophets and their doom and gloom?
No.
No, they hated them. In fact, some people tried very actively to annihilate the prophets because they annoyed them.
Like,
Good.
which one was the prophet that got thrown into a well for several weeks?
I don't remember that either.
I don't think that was a prophet, that was Joseph.
Well, Joseph got thrown into a well, but one of the prophets actually got.
He did?
Yeah, and I don't recall which one. So anyway, let me just recap. Let's go through the pronouns, and we're going to remember this. We're going to do this every single time because when we study the verbs, we're going to need to know the pronouns. Okay? Everybody with me? Ani, I, me. Anochi, I, formal. Anachnu, we. Ata, you, masculine, singular. Atem, you all, masculine, plural. Who, he, masculine, singular. Haim, them, masculine, plural. At, you, feminine, singular. Aten, you all, feminine, plural. He, she, feminine, singular. Hain, them, feminine, plural. Okay, very good. So we're done. All right. So now we can go back into prophets, which I am so ignorant about. It's embarrassing. But if you read prophets, you will read over and over and over again the prophets telling the Israelites that they're being very bad. They're very, very badly behaved.
The Israelites didn't like that.
And the Israelites didn't like being told that they were badly behaved.
Like they didn't need any more reminders.
That's right. They didn't, but they actually did because God still had a connection to the Israelites, as God today has a connection to us, right?
Like,
So-
when I was told like after like a certain period of time, like after about like 2,000, 3,000 years or so, God stopped like actively like really like appearing on earth and doing miracles.
Well,
Like after like he thought like the Israelites had like sort of matured, so he didn't
Yeah.
need to be reprimanding them all the time.
okay.
So he retired.